Hi, this is Michael Fiore, and really quickly, I just want to walk you through this very special document that you're going to be able to download. If you look underneath this video of me right here, you're going to see a link that says where you can download the step-by-step process map / relationship roadmap for Text Your Ex Back. And I just want to bring you through what we're actually talking about, what each of the steps that you're going to see in this process map, in this roadmap, actually are, so it makes some sense to you. This is actually something that I worked on for quite a bit of time, me and my graphic design guy, to figure out how do we really present how this works and why it works to men and to women who are in that state of desperately wanting your ex-husband, your ex-wife, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend back, and explaining why the texting methods that I've developed actually do work very, very well. Now, in any breakup, there's two things that happen before you would even consider using something like Text Your Ex Back. That's the breakup itself, which can be angry. It can be really horrible. It can be a screaming match. It can be because there was infidelity. It can be because of financial reasons. It can be because maybe the relationship just felt dead for one partner or the other. I do find that most of the time, a breakup is a one-sided thing. One person wants to break up, the other doesn't. And whether you're the dumpy or the dumper, if you're on this page, it tells me you're probably going through a few very intense emotions right now. And you can be going through these emotions whether you've been broken up with this person for days, for weeks, for months, or in some cases for years. I've had quite a few people use Text Your Ex Back after years of being broken up with somebody, of being divorced from somebody. And at first, what you're probably feeling right now are a few very powerful emotions. Sadness, not just sadness about being rejected, but sadness at the death of your relationship, at the fact that the future that you were hoping to have with this one person doesn't seem to be able to happen anymore. You're probably feeling quite a bit of anger, and not just anger at your partner, but probably, and this is unfortunate, anger at yourself. I get emails every single day from men and from women saying things like, Michael, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? How could I be so stupid? If only I could change. If only I could go back. If only I could explain to this other person, this man or this woman, how much I love them, how much I want them. And you're probably engaging in some pretty destructive behavior. Not just destructive behavior to yourself, but also to your relationship. It says here, frantic texting. Now that frantic texting, that kind of covers a lot of things. It covers the emails you might be sending, the phone calls you might be sending. It covers the, maybe you're just finding a way to show up where your ex happens to be. And what you're doing there is actually very destructive to your chances of getting your ex back. It sounds counterintuitive, but the stuff you're doing where you apologize, you say, I'm so sorry. How could I possibly do that? How can I get you back? Frantically sending these messages is actually killing the attraction that your ex-partner may still have for you. It's actually making it more difficult for them to come back to you. It's making it more difficult for them to remember all of the really good things that you had in your relationship. That's what we're going to do with Text Your Ex Back. We're going to bring back up those really special, wonderful memories that your ex has. Now, one thing I do have to talk about before we get going, this is controversial, but I talk about it in everything I put out, is that the relationship you had with your ex, that love affair, that marriage, that relationship is over. Right now, as you're sitting here, it's over. It's dead. And it's not coming back. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they're trying to get their ex back is they try to get that exact same relationship back. One phrase I hear a lot is, why can't things just be the way they were before? And unfortunately, they can't be. That relationship is over. But what you can do, what the Text Your Ex Back system does extraordinarily well, is it can help you to create a new relationship with that same person. So wherever you are now, whether it's been days, months, years, whatever it's been, I want you to move past the anger and the sadness. Set that aside for a while. I know you feel it deep in your heart. And I'm going to explain to you how using the Text Your Ex Back system is going to help you get by that. So if you decide to get Text Your Ex Back or don't, the way it works is when you get the program, the first thing I actually have you do is not to text your ex. A lot of folks come to me and they say, Michael, what's that one text message I can send to my ex right now that's going to make them forget everything, that's going to make them forgive me for the infidelity, for the cheating, that's going to make them forget about the fights we may have had, that's going to reawaken that passion and that love that we had before? And unfortunately, the answer is there's not any one text that does that. I'm not going to BS you here. I'm not going to say there's a magical little thing that's going to brainwash them into coming back to you. In fact, one thing I insist that you do once you get text your ex back is to not contact your ex in any way whatsoever for 30 days. And by what do I mean by not in any way whatsoever? I mean no texting, no emailing, no talking on the phone. I don't care if they call you, actually. We get this sometimes. People write me and they say, Michael, my ex keeps texting me these weird little messages. Should I respond? And I say, for that first 30 days, no. The key here is that you need to start taking the power in the relationship. You need to start controlling and driving where the relationship is. When you're sending frantic texts, apologies, things like that, you're giving all your power away. You're becoming the pursuer to a degree that is really nauseating to a certain degree. And one thing that I have to tell you to do is, during that 30 days, don't even be your ex's friend. Now, oftentimes people will say, Michael, my ex-girlfriend and I broke up. She says she just wants to be friends, and she keeps calling me, and she keeps talking to me about things going on with her friends, or she talks to me about guys she's dating, which is horrifying, and things like that. And I'm going to say, whether you're a man or a woman watching this, for these 30 days, and possibly longer if you can pull it off, do not be your ex-boyfriend's or your ex-girlfriend's friend. The reason for that is, if they can get the emotional sucker from you that they want, they will never see any need to be in a relationship with you again. If you're friends, that's a relationship. You've basically gone from being a lover to being a friend, and it's very difficult once you become somebody's friend to translate that friend relationship into something more. If you think about your own life, if you think about your own relationships, you'll notice this. How often has it been that somebody who you think of as a friend has become something more than that? Now, it happens very, very rarely, but most of the time, not at all. Guys complain about this all the time. I got put in the friend box, and why can't she see that I'm something special? She's never going to. So avoid becoming her friend. Don't be there for her, or don't be there for him right now for these 30 days. I'm going to show you what to do after that from there. Now, I know it's hurting you because you're like, oh, I want to talk to them. You can't. Also, sometimes folks say, well, Michael, I have to talk to my ex because we have kids together. In that case, you want to keep the conversations with your ex as businesslike and short as possible for this full 30 days. No emotion, no reminiscing, no showing them that you like them still, no lusting after them, none of that stuff. Just say, I'm picking up Jimmy at 3, and you grab Jimmy and you go. And that's it. That's it. I know it's hard. Now, what do I want you to do during those 30 days? You're going to say, well, if I get text your ex back, what the hell? I mean, I got 30 days here. What am I going to do during that time? You're going to do a few things during that time. One is you're going to work on yourself in ways that I explain in Text Your Ex Back. You're going to do things like go out on dates if you can. Now, I'm not saying you have to sleep with anybody. I'm not saying you have to engage in a new relationship. But simply by going on dates, you're going to help yourself a lot. But the other things you're going to do is you're going to use the processes that are in Text Your Ex Back to determine the real reasons that you broke up. That's this section right here. And I find that a lot of times folks come to me and they say, well, there's the reason that my ex told me we broke up. Is it the real reason? Oftentimes not. People will lie to you to spare your feelings. They'll say, it's not you, it's me, or I'm just not feeling it anymore, or it's because of this one thing. I have a process in Text Your Ex Back where we kind of do a little detective work, where we start thinking about what is the real reason this ended? What is the real reason this fell apart in some ways? Was it because of communication? Was it because of sex? Was it because of we just weren't compatible in certain ways? Was there one particular thing that you did that drove your partner crazy? There's all these potential things. After that, when you get to page 17 in Text Your Ex Back, you determine your big goal. As I always like to say, you can't hit the target until you paint it on the wall. And a lot of folks, they come to me and they just say, Michael, I just want my ex back. That's my goal. You need to know what you're really trying to accomplish. What does success really mean to you? Does it mean marriage and kids? Does it mean a passionate love affair? Does it mean that you become best friends who spend all of your time together? What does it mean to you to really get your ex back or to create a new relationship with your ex? What does that actually feel like? We have a process in Text Your Ex Back where we go through this. We also have an entire process, by the way, where we work on your self-esteem, where we work on the feelings you're feeling right now, which in my experience, having dealt with a lot of folks who are going through breakups and want their ex back, you probably don't feel very good about yourself. And a simple fact of life is confidence is very attractive. Confidence is sexy. So I show you how, using the I like myself game process and a few other things, how to start getting that confidence back, how to start feeling good about yourself. If you're needy, whether you're a man or a woman, it's not going to be attractive to your ex. It's a big problem, actually. One of the problems that happens in relationships that causes them to end prematurely, I would say, is that one partner becomes too needy, too codependent, forgets that they are who they are as a person, forgets why they themselves are awesome. Now, after we've done that, after we've determined your goal, and after we've determined the real reasons you've broken up during this 30-day process, we start using or preparing what I call text judo methods. Now, what is judo? Judo is a martial art. That's why we have this cool martial arts picture right here, where you basically use your enemies, quote unquote, strength against them. If you watch a judo master, what they do is when someone throws a punch at them, they use the energy of that punch to throw that person. Now, your ex is not your enemy. Far from it, I would hope. Your ex, whether it's a man or a woman, is somebody you're in love with, who you want to have a better relationship with. And what I mean by text judo is we start finding those points of emotional hotness in your relationship, the relationship you had. We start finding the things in your old relationship that really worked. We start finding things like the best memories you ever had together, the best sex you ever had together, times that you were there for your ex, times they were there for you, times you really enjoyed each other, moments, your origin story as a couple that actually brought you together, all of these things. There's a worksheet that I need you to use when you get into Text Your Ex Back, where you list all this stuff out. And this is your ammo for the Text Your Ex Back system. I actually want you to do this pretty much right away after you get the program and work on it and start thinking about it and preparing it for when you get to the point of actually using Text Your Ex Back. And then after those 30 days are up, after you've spent that time working on yourself, after you've determined the real reason you broke up and your big goal and your text judo methods, that's when we get to day 31 and where the texting begins, which sounds a little bit like a Star Wars kind of thing there. The first thing I actually show you how to use, many folks are like, Michael, what's the first text I use? And the first text you use in Text Your Ex Back is what I call an across the bow text. It's on page 36 of the program. And across the bow text is a very special little form of a text that is non-emotional and non-confrontational. A lot of folks, they'll make the mistake of sending a text that's like, how you doing? ... or something like that. Or trying too hard to build jealousy or things like that, or anything like that. And across the bow text is a very simple text, and can't give you the entire formula for it here, where you basically show your ex-partner that you were thinking of them, but in a non-committal, non-creepy way. You're not doing the whole like, I miss you so much, I miss you so much, I miss you so much, come back to me. In fact, a good across the bow text is a little bit of a push away. It's a little bit of showing your partner that you're okay without them, that you don't necessarily need them, right? And from an across the bow text, you may get a variety of kind of answers. You might get a negative answer. You might get an answer where you send an across the bow text and your partner says, I don't freaking want to talk to you, right? That happens. It could be that they're still hurt. If there was something like cheating or whatever else that went on, they might simply not be ready to talk to you. If that happens, you simply apologize you don't take on all the blame yourself, but you apologize. And then you have to take more time off. You may have to take another week off. You may have to take another 30 days off, whatever it is we covered in the program. If you get no answer at all from an across the bow text, that's actually not a bad sign. A lot of folks come to me and they say, Michael, I did what you said. I sent across the bow text and she didn't answer. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. As I like to say with all of my programs, the answer is not the goal. Delivering the message is the goal. And across the bow text, properly delivered, builds that seed of connection with your partner. Now, if you don't get any answer after that, you wait at least 4 days, then you try another across the bow text. If you still don't get an answer at that point, you may move on to doing something else. Or it's possible that, the process might need to be refined for you. Now, what if you get a neutral answer? A neutral answer is something like, hey, how are you? From them. In that case, you establish power. Remember, you always have to be in control of what's going on with any kind of process like this. And what happens then is you have a brief conversation, and then you end the conversation and proceed to the next step. If you get a positive answer, which does happen, I get emails from folks saying, hey, I sent one of the across the bow text and my ex-boyfriend was ecstatic to hear from me, seemed so happy. In that case, you treat it like a neutral answer. A mistake many folks make is they say, oh, a positive response, let's get back together, let's meet up right now. I never actually want you to be the one to ask to meet up. You want them to be the one to suggest that possibly you should meet up, because if they make the suggestion, it's much more powerful. Now, after the across the bow texts are done, you move on to some really, really fun stuff. And I love the graphics that my graphic guy came up with these. The best of texts are texts you send where you bring your ex back in time and use after positive across the bow text or week one or 1 week after a negative response. What this means is the best of texts are basically where you're putting you and your ex in a time machine. And you're reminding them in a non-needy way. That's the key. And I show you how to do that in the languaging of the actual text, of the great experiences you had as a couple. Now, that could be the day that you got together. It could be a day when you really had just, a passionate experience together, where you went on a vacation together, where you went through a trauma together is actually very powerful. A car wreck or somebody died and you were there for each other. But I show you how to use these as a way to remind your ex of the bond you had together using best of texts. After that, you move on to intimacy booster texts, which plant the seed by reminding your ex what they're missing. And again, this is all done in a very non-needy way, right? It's not, I want you so much, I miss you so much, I'm just miserable without you. You don't go there yet. At this early stage still in text your ex back, and in any process of getting your ex back, you have to show integrity as a man or as a woman, that you're okay without them. It's a little trick of human psychology that we run away from that which pursues us, right? We run away from that which pursues us. If we were in a room together and I started chasing you, you would run. You'd think we were playing a game, but you'd try to get away. Whereas if you stand solidly and powerfully, and I show you how to do that in the program, people are magnetically drawn to you. That's what we do here with intimacy booster texts. And those are really very intimate, and they remind your partner about the intimacy that you had. They show your partner that there was something special there. From there, we move on to green-eyed monster texts, which is about jealousy. Now, not jealousy in a way where you're trying to make your ex into a rage-filled beast or anything like that. But once communication is established, you use jealousy to reawaken your ex's attraction, and you're kind of subtle about it. Attraction is largely based off of understanding that the person you're going after is wanted by other people as well. A problem I see in relationships a lot is people forget that they are sexual creatures, that they are attractive creatures. They become super codependent. And what can happen both for men and for women is they stop seeing that person that's right there as a valuable, sexy, beautiful, wonderful person. So we use green-eyed monster texts to kind of flip a switch in your ex's brain a little bit. From there, we move on to emotional honesty texts. And this is actually, for men particularly, one of the toughest things to pull off at first. That's actually why we have you do so much work beforehand, right? When we have you do all the stuff up here around, establishing your big goal, text judo, determining the real reason you broke up, is because when you get to the emotional honesty text section, you need to be ready to really bare your heart in a powerful way. And again, not in a needy way. It's not the, I love you so much and I miss you so much. It's, here's how I feel about you, right? I don't need you. I'm okay without you, but I'd be more okay with you. I would like to have you here, right? Here's how I actually feel, right? And I show you how to do that. I show you the exact formula, how to say it in a way that the man or a woman will respond to. Now, once we've got the emotion handled, we move on to seduction texts, which turn your ex on even if they don't want to be. That's on page 63 of Text Your Ex Back. And this is the sexy stuff. Sex is a very, very important part of any relationship, right? A romantic relationship. And sex is also oftentimes part of the problem in a relationship that causes folks to break up. One person has a higher sex drive than the other, or they have a different kind of sex drive, things like that. In my other programs, I talk about that stuff a lot. But I show you how to use sexual psychology to essentially turn your partner on and to remind them that you understand them sexually better than anyone else. You are together. You get them. You understand who they are. And you can use that against them, quote unquote, in a very powerful way. And from there, using all of this stuff, you will get, most likely, your ex to respond to you and possibly to ask you out and to reunite with your ex. Now, am I guaranteeing that if you follow these steps, you're guaranteed to get your ex back? No, not at all. I can't do that. I don't know who your ex is. I don't know what your ex's situation is right now. Are they with somebody who they're really happy with? They might be. And I don't know why you broke up. I don't know how bad that relationship was. As I say in my other videos and things like that, if you were abusive towards your ex, either emotionally or physically, or if your ex was abusive towards you, either emotionally or physically, I don't want you to get back together. I just don't. I know you might be feeling, oh, I really want them, but it's not the way it works. In that case, I'd rather use the material I teach you for a better relationship in the future. But I do know that text your ex back, and we've gotten so many wonderful testimonials and comments from men and from women about this, saying things like, Michael, I didn't think it was going to work, but this was so worth it and so worth my time. Or saying, Michael, I had tried so many other things to get my ex-boyfriend to respond to me and nothing worked, but I sent one of the texts you gave me and my phone lit up and now we're having a conversation. Or, Michael, we broke up a few months ago. We had an amazing spark at first. I didn't even know what happened. And after using your stuff, she explained to me why we broke up. And now we're working on things. Now we're getting back together, right? These are the kind of results that you can get. It's not magic. It's not like you're going to send 3 little texts and it's going to be happily ever after, right? You're not going to be like walking down the wedding aisle 2 days from now because of these texts. But what this material does extraordinarily well is it opens that door. And it helps you establish a new, better relationship with that person. And you get your ex back, hopefully. And if you don't get your ex back, you understand what happened better. That hurt that you're feeling right now will dissipate if you do this, right? If you do it right. Now, like I said, I probably should be promising, oh yeah, just push 3 buttons and you'll get your ex back. I simply can't do that. My integrity won't let me do that. And the way the program is designed is not for a tiny result of, oh, you're going to get a phone call back. It's about establishing a relationship. And that's how Text Your Ex Back works. Just go over it really quickly. You have your 30 days off. You determine the real reasons you broke up. You create your big goal. You use text judo methods to prepare. You use across the bow text to open up conversation. And depending on what kind of reaction you get, you move in different directions. You use best of text to remind your partner about what a great relationship you had and could possibly have again. You use intimacy booster text to show your partner that there is more than just a friendship or just a partnership here, but there's a real powerful thing. You use green-eyed monster texts to remind them that you are a valuable, beautiful, powerful person who is desirable. You use emotional honesty text to show communication, especially for guys. Emotional honesty text, women, the number one reason they break up with guys is there's no communication. I don't know how he feels about me. And this is stuff that actually shows you how to say that without getting weird about it. You're still a guy, it's okay. And then you use seduction texts to really open things up. And that leads to your ex saying, let's get together and talk, right? That's the thing. Now, I want you to download this map for yourself. Text Your Ex Back. It's textyoureXback.com is the website. And I also want to give you a chance right now, if this looks good to you, to grab Text Your Ex Back for yourself. Now, if you see here, this is a slide from the previous video I put together for you. And I want to give you the chance right now to get Text Your Ex Back, plus my Infidelity Buster interview I did with Dr. Janet Hall, the Instant Forgiveness interview I did with Dr. Frederick Luskin, the audio version of Text Your Ex Back, and the Facebook Romance Secrets program, which shows you how to use Facebook and social media to be overwhelmingly romantic. All for just $47. Now that's a bit over half off the regular $97 retail price. And for that $47, you'll get the entire program as a digital download. So you'll be able to get the entire program just a few minutes from now. You'll be able to, like many of my customers do, grab it, download it, either print it or put it on your iPad as a PDF or whatever you want to do. Read through it tonight, start absorbing the material. I think if you're like a lot of my customers, you'll play the I like myself game and you'll be overwhelmed by it. And then you'll work through the process over the next 30 days, and 31 days from now, you will start using Text Your Ex Back on your ex. And within a few weeks from there, you'll be getting great results, I hope. right? Depending on where your ex is at. There's no this isn't a rope that pulls people in or things like that. But when it works extraordinarily well. And when it doesn't work, it still creates a great connection and helps you move on. If you want, I'm just going to say this right now. Here's my promise to you. If you want your ex back, if you truly want them back, if you truly love this man or love this woman, if you truly believe that you and this man or woman have a great future together that was unrealized because of whatever happened to cause you to break up, this is your best chance of getting them back and keeping them, right? Of getting them back and creating a truly good relationship with them. That, the kind of fairy tale romance you've always wanted. But it can only happen if you follow a certain process, and this is the best process. So if you want to grab Text Your Ex Back at the discounted price of just $47, all you have to do is click the Add to Cart button that is below this video right here. Enter your credit card information, hit the submit button on the next page, and you will get Text Your Ex Back as a digital download in just a few short minutes. You'll be able to start using this stuff yourself in just a few short minutes. And of course, if it doesn't, if you read through it all and you're like, this is not for me, that's okay. We offer a 60-day unconditional guarantee. All you have to do is get in touch with my support folks anytime within the next 60 days, and you'll get a refund. Now, I do want to say this, though. A pet peeve of mine is folks who download material like this, read through material like this, and say, I don't think this will work for me. I don't think so. It's worked for quite a few people. Between this program, my Text the Romance Back program, with other things, tens of thousands of people have benefited greatly from this material. I get emails every day from men and from women saying, I used Text Your Ex Back, and it opened this door in a magic way. It drew them back to me like a magnet. It created this incredible bond with me. I've had guys say, I used Text Your Ex Back, and that very night, my ex-girlfriend and I met up together, and we had a drink together, and we ended up going back to my house together, and now we're actually building a relationship. I've had women say, I used Text Your Ex Back, and he opened up to me. He told me how he really felt. He's never done that before. He told me how he truly felt about me. He told me what I meant to him in a powerful way he never had before. We have wonderful success stories. But it only works if you use it. And it only works if you go through the entire process and use it as it was created and as it was meant to be used. So if you're somebody who's just going to download this and then skim it and then be like, not for me, don't buy it. Seriously, I don't want your money. I don't want your time. We have so many people that we sell this to that get great results. It doesn't really matter to me if folks who are simply not going to do the work grab it. But if you're somebody who's serious, and if you're somebody who sees this as an opportunity and sees, after seeing this process map, that there's a real system here, and it's a real system that really works, I want you to click the Add to Cart button below and grab Text Your Ex Back right now. And if not, take the process map, read through it, think about it. And I think you're going to come back in a day or two. And hopefully you'll still be able to get the lower price at that point. So thank you very much. My name is Michael Fiore, and I really hope you will take the opportunity to let me help you get rid of that pain that you're feeling right now and to get your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend back in your life. Thank you.